Most people don't realize that anxiety is strongly linked to high cortisol. And that's exactly why your anxiety never goes away. Because when cortisol stays high for too long, it actually rewires your brain. It alters neurotransmitter balance, flipping on a switch that sends one overwhelming signal to your body: we are in danger. And when this happens, everything that comes with anxiety follows. You overthink everything, replay every what-if scenario, only to see the worst possible outcomes of things that haven't happened yet. Your thoughts race so fast, it's impossible to think clearly, and the constant noise of worry drowns out any clear thinking. You forget what you were thinking about moments ago, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and mentally drained. You wake up just as tired as when you went to sleep, like your body had never rested, but the sleep never reached you. This is what high cortisol does to you. Anxiety is just a symptom, and that's what this video is about today. As a board-certified integrated medicine specialist, I'm going to show you some simple science-backed steps to reset cortisol so you can finally feel calm, clear, and back in control. See, cortisol is the hormone that has a strong connection with stress, brain fog, and anxiety, but it's actually your friend. It's supposed to help you respond to stress and regulate blood pressure. The problem is when the thing that triggers cortisol gets out of hand. When you're constantly under pressure, your nervous system never gets the signal that the danger has passed, so cortisol doesn't return to baseline. It stays elevated and starts interfering with the brain's threat detection center, the amygdala. When the amygdala is activated, your brain intercepts ordinary situations as danger. As a result, the mind stays hypervigilant, which feels like a constant worry or unease. High cortisol can interfere with neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. When these chemicals become imbalanced, you get more anxious than usual. Over time, elevated cortisol can reduce activity in the prefrontal cortex. It is the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation. When this happens, it becomes harder to calm yourself down or stop racing thoughts. And you constantly struggle with anxiety just because your cortisol levels are high. So how do you fix it? How do you restore your body's normal stress rhythm so your cortisol levels remain normal? The first way to fix this is by regulating your sleep cycle. It's the single most powerful method you have for bringing cortisol back into balance. And it's completely free, because the way your body produces cortisol is governed by your circadian rhythm, which is your internal 24-hour biological clock. When the rhythm is disrupted, cortisol levels stay high. So you need to reset your circadian rhythm. The best way to do this is sunlight. When you get direct sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, the light enters your retina and triggers a cascade inside your brain. It sends a signal to your brain that the day has started. That signal helps regulate cortisol, boost dopamine, and starts aligning your entire hormonal system. It tells your body when to feel alert during the day and when to wind down at night. Morning sunlight also carries a full spectrum of wavelengths, UV and infrared light that interact with your skin, your mitochondria, your hormonal system. People spend hundreds of dollars on infrared saunas, and those have real benefits, so I'm not dismissing them, but 10 to 15 minutes of early morning sunlight delivers a dose of UV and infrared energy that genuinely blows any sauna session out of the water for regulating circadian rhythms. It supports testosterone and estrogen regulation and improves melatonin production at night by calibrating the signal correctly in the morning. That's actually a simple framework for this lay like a sphinx, eat like a shark, sleep like a polar bear. The sphinx part is about the sunlight. The ancient sphinx faced east toward the rising sun, soaking up the morning light when those UV and infrared rays are at their best. The early light exposure is one of the strongest signals your brain receives to stabilize cortisol. The shark part is about keeping nutrition simple. Higher protein and fewer rapid carb spikes help prevent big insulin swings that may also influence stress hormones. But the biggest lesson here ties back to the sleep. Sleep like a polar bear, cold, dark, and quiet. When your room is cool and completely dark, your body can drop into deeper recovery, allowing cortisol to fall at night the way it's supposed to. And when that rhythm resets, stress, anxiety, brain fog starts to fade away. Now, sleep is the foundation for resetting cortisol, but it's only half the equation. Sleep mainly resets the timing of cortisol and does not directly address why your nervous system keeps triggering it in the first place. For this, you need meditation. When you slow your breathing and calm the mind, you're essentially telling your brain that the threat is over. Over time, this improves emotional regulation and helps the body establish healthier cortisol patterns. Now, you don't need to sit for an hour like a monk. Even 10 to 20 minutes a day can start training your nervous system to downshift out of constant stress. You can try this right now. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale through your mouth for 6 to 8 counts. Repeat that 4 to 5 times. That's it. So sleep sets the body daily rhythm, but meditation teaches your brain how to turn the stress response off during the day. And when those two systems start working together, cortisol finally begins to settle into a healthier pattern. But there's another piece that often gets overlooked. These are the glands that actually produce cortisol in the first place. These are your adrenal glands. These are 2 small triangular glands responsible for producing cortisol along with several other important hormones. They follow the same circadian rhythm as the rest of the body. The adrenal glands depend heavily on proper nutrition to function well. They use nutrients like magnesium, vitamin C, B vitamins, and adequate protein to support hormone production and help the body handle stress. When the body is under chronic stress, these nutrients can be depleted more quickly, which makes it harder for the adrenal system to maintain healthy cortisol patterns. So, you need to make sure your adrenal system has the right nutrients so it produces cortisol at the right time. And when you combine adrenal support with sleep regulation and meditation, your cortisol levels will come back to normal. But mental balance often requires going deeper into how the brain functions. Meditation and relaxation techniques work mainly by quieting the stress system. They help slow the body down and reduce the constant fight or flight signals. But just as anxiety is linked to cortisol, it also involves specific brain circuits that control fear, memory, and emotional interpretation. Two key areas are the amygdala, which processes threat and fear, and the hippocampus, which helps your brain understand context and memory. When these circuits become overactive, the brain can start interpreting ordinary situations as danger, even when nothing is actually wrong. And then, anxiety and brain fog can sometimes be influenced by underlying medical conditions. Conditions like thyroid dysfunction or hormonal imbalances can affect mood, energy, and cognitive clarity. You may have observed that anxiety is deeply connected to past trauma or learned emotional patterns as well, where the brain has essentially been trained to stay in a heightened state of alert. So in situations like these, you need a deeper therapeutic approach that can work directly with your brain. One of these approaches is neurofeedback therapy. It's a form of brain training that uses EEG technology to monitor brain waves. During a session, your small sensors are placed on the scalp to measure your brain's electrical activity in real time. That information is then connected to specialized software that provides immediate feedback, often through a simple game or visual display. As the brain sees these signals, it begins to learn how to shift away from unstable patterns and move toward more balanced and regulated brain activity. Over time, this training can help calm the neural circuits involved in chronic stress, which may reduce the persistent signals that drive elevated cortisol and anxiety. Instead of forcing the brain to relax, neurofeedback helps the brain retrain itself towards healthier patterns of regulation. But for this, you need to make sure that the neurofeedback session is based on your health and your lifestyle goals, because everyone has different stress levels and different body requirements. This is why at Vibe Wellness, each neurofeedback session is customized to the individual. We carefully assess the brainwave patterns, and our training program is tailored to the person's specific goals and neurological profile. Sessions are often overseen by board-certified clinicians who guide the process using evidence-based protocols. These are designed to help the brain restore stability and resilience over time. Overall, we focus on training the brain's natural electrical activity so it can return to a more balanced state. Because we know that high cortisol and anxiety don't usually come from just one thing. They come from a system that has slowly drifted out of balance. That's why this solution is rarely a single trick or a supplement. It's about restoring the body's natural rhythm. So your body already knows how to regulate cortisol and maintain mental clarity. The goal is to remove the obstacles and give your brain, the nervous system, the right signals to do what they were designed to do. When you do this, your anxiety, brain fog, and constant fatigue often begin to improve naturally. If you want to learn more about how we do it with neurofeedback therapy, tap the link in the description below.